It's been a minute. We haven't done any content in a while, and some of you guys have been wondering what is going on. What is he doing? Where is he doing it at? Well, today we're going to get back on the Maverick. We're going to be doing some new things on the Maverick. Some of you guys who've been waiting for some Maverick content, well, hold on. We're going to be doing quite a bit of it. So let's get out into the garage today and see what we got going on today. So guys, yesterday we were trying to do some content on the Maverick, and it just seemed like my day snowballed on me. I've taken some time off specifically to focus on some of the Maverick stuff that I've been wanting to do. So before we could do anything to the Maverick yesterday, I had to spend most of the day cleaning the Maverick up, getting it ready so it looked presentable. You guys don't want to see a nasty, filthy, dirty Maverick. So let's turn the camera around. And there she is, all cleaned up. She cleans up really nicely. I am pushing up on 4 years of ownership now. Okay guys, today one of the modifications that we're going to do to the Maverick is going to be somewhat controversial. Why would you say controversial? Well, maybe that's not a good word to use, but it's one of those additions that I said to myself I was never going to add to my Maverick, but I decided, since it was a good deal on it and I saw it on another Maverick, I said, you know what, let's try it and see how it looks, and if I don't like it, I can always take it off. So let me show you what we're talking about. Okay, we're going to be installing the 4-piece vent visor kit that is sold through Ford Accessories. I believe it's made by Lund. Don't quote me on that. If it is different than that, I'll put a little notice up here in the video. Very easy to install. I've already washed down the vehicle and then wiped it down again this morning, but it does come with alcohol packs. We're going to wipe off the area where this is going to be installed, and then it's pretty much a press and play kind of deal. So let me get the alcohol wipes and get busy. Okay, this is pretty much a straightforward process. We're going to install the rear door section first and then do the front. It's pretty much a press and play deal. We'll wipe down the painted surface here with alcohol, and then this will just stick right into place. It does go to the edge of the front part of the rear door, but I do notice, which I don't know why they made it this way, but when you attach it, it does not go all the way to the end of where the door is. Not sure why they made it that way. But it shows it that way in the directions, so that's how we're going to install it. So let's set this aside and wipe this whole area down here with alcohol, and then it's basically a press and play kind of deal. It's supplied, now this product is, like I say, provided by Ford Accessories, but I do believe it is made by Lund. But it's pretty simple. Like most of the instructions and a lot of the things you get from Ford Accessories, the instructions are not going to be provided in the actual box, but it will be provided for you where you can download it onto your phone or computer with the QR code that is supplied. I can pretty much use one alcohol wipe to do both the surfaces for the front and the rear. And like I said, this is not going to be a cup of tea for everybody. Everybody is not going to like these, and I may not like these, but just know that you can always take them off if you do not decide that you like them. Simply just use a heat gun and heat up that area, and then you'll be straight. So I'm going to get a paper towel and dry that because it's still a little bit damp out here. I'm just going to take this terry cloth buff pad and just dry that area that I wiped off with alcohol, and that's to make sure there's no wax and contaminants in that area. And basically what you're going to do is line the top edge up with. So first thing we're going to do is peel back a little small section of the two-sided tape, just like those things that we installed earlier this year, the cab spoiler, tailgate spoiler, all of those things require two-sided tape. And I'm praying that this is really good stuff, because it did come from Ford Accessories and I'm going to trust them. But like I said, you can always take it off and put something else on that's better, like 3M. It doesn't say 3M on it, but I'm going to assume that it is. So we're going to go with this. So we're going to get the edges pulled up. It's 3 sections, 2 on the end and then 1 in the center. So we're just going to pull up enough so we can grab that once we start applying it to the vehicle. Just fold the edge back so you can pull it out. Same thing on the top piece. Fold the edge back so you can pull it out. If you got fingernails, it's pretty easy, but you also have to have good eyesight too, which I got fingernails, but these glasses certainly are not as good as the naked eye. I'll say that. All right, we got the edges pulled back. Make sure you look at the pieces before you start anything. This is saying on it LH, which means left hand side. So let's start by lining the edge up with the corner. Okay, I'm going to push that in place because there's enough of the tape exposed that it will kind of just hold it there for a moment. And I'm going to line the top edge up with the top of the door as best as we can. And I'm going to push that in. Well, now I'm going to do the end pieces first and then the middle top piece so that it'll hold it right where I want it to as I'm pulling the top piece out. So let's go ahead and pull this back piece off. It's not hard, just a little tedious. I think that tore. No, it's fine. So line this edge up, eyeball it all the way down to the end, and mash it in place. All right, so now this end is going to hold it. Now I can pull the other front piece off, stick it up on the door, line it up with the edge, push it in place. Now I can pull the center stripe all the way down. Nowhere near as hard as doing those spoilers and those other bigger pieces that we did earlier this year. So now that we have all the tape off, you're going to go around and apply extreme pressure all the way around from corner. Now what's going to aid in this sticking later on is supposed to be about 80 degrees, so the heat from that will help this set up nicely. If not, you can always go back and hit it with a heat gun. All right, we've done the back part. Let's do the front. Let me wipe that down, make sure it's free of contaminants and dust. We've already treated it with alcohol. And this piece only has the top part, which is adhesive, and then it has one end. So we'll pull the end off, mate it up to the corner of the door, and then we'll do the top piece just like we did on the rear door, provided I can get the two-sided tape to pull back. I did mock all these in place with some painter's tape just to see how they fit, to be sure I knew what I was doing and how I wanted them on there and how they're supposed to go on there. I did all of that previous to anything else. And it does tell you to do that in the directions. So we have this corner edge ready. Now this front edge has a little lip on it. This little teeny lip on the end will slide under the edge of the mirror cap. So we're going to slide that under first, and then we're going to move this all the way to the edge and stick it. But before we do that, we're going to get a piece pulled so that we can easily pull it loose once we get everything tapped in. I tell you, this tape is hard to get a little edge off of that adhesive. There we go. Got a little piece to fold back on the top piece. Now we're going to sit the edge in under the little cap, slide it up to line it up with the edge of the top of the door. Now it's not going to be perfect because these pieces are not, I would say, absolutely 100% on line. So you're going to have to just get it to where it, and this, unlike the, both pieces, if you'll notice, the edges are going to meet right here on the truck. So line those up so that they are perpendicular. Press it in. Now you can kind of move the front of it if you need to a little bit. Then you're going to pull the top piece tape all the way down and around. Now, just like the other piece, you're going to use extreme pressure, hold it down, and mash it in. Alrighty, that's what it's supposed to look like. And we'll do the same thing for the right hand side. What I am doing now is wiping it down so that it looks nice, but I'm also taking this microfiber towel and pushing with pressure all the way around to make sure one final time that it is properly attached. So, I don't know. Time will tell if I leave these on. But I think it looks pretty cool. Some people say it makes the roof line look lower. I don't know. To me, when I used to see these, I used to say, well, that looks kind of like a old man thing. But I'm not 25 anymore, let's say that. So, yeah, this is how it came out. So, you either love it or you don't. I have seen some that really stick out and they're kind of gaudy looking, but these are pretty, you know, flat. They don't seem to, you know, they don't stick up a lot. So it's one of those things that, like I say, you either love it or you don't. So we'll see. Maybe I'll leave them on, maybe I won't. But you guys know what they look like now because I've put them on mine, so you can decide whether you want to put them on yours or not. So that being said, let's move on to the next thing we have for the Maverick. Okay guys, the next thing that I'm going to install is something that I purchased quite a while back, but it seems like I misplaced them, forgot about them, and then I was looking through some of the things that I had purchased and I'm like, wait a minute, I never got those. And I looked on the I looked on the internet and yeah, you received them, you just didn't put them on. So as you can see, we have this carbon fiber-esque, if you want to say that, cover that goes around the Ford emblem. And another company has made a carbon fiber cover that goes over the tailgate latch mechanism. So we're going to install that now. This is, of course, like most of the things that you'll find on the internet, made in China. Pre-tariffs. So I probably got a really good deal on it. Don't ask me, I can't remember the company that I bought it from. However, it is going on the vehicle today. So like everything that you buy, these pieces like this, and this is on with two-sided tape, has been on there for over a year. They do not come off, all you guys who want to worry. Yeah, unless you use a heat gun, and then you can surely pull them off. These already have the two-sided tape pre-installed on them, so you don't have to cut anything out. Basically just pull off the backing and stick it on. But what you want to do, if at all possible, well, at the very least you should be wiping these things off with alcohol. Now if you have some adhesion promoter, that would be even better, to use some adhesion promoter when you put these on, especially on this surface because it's kind of porous. So I do have some adhesion promoter and I am going to use it. I bought some for the last project that I had, so I'm going to use it because I don't want to put these on and then they fall off and then, you know, I got to get two-sided tape and do the whole deal again. So now if you're going to be doing a lot of this kind of work, I would suggest going on Amazon and buying you at least, depending on how they sell them, sometimes they sell them in packs of 3. I bought a 3-pack the last time that I got some, but this 3M adhesion promoter gets the job done. Anytime you're going to be using two-sided tape, it is a good safe measure to use this, and it does tell you to use it between 60 degrees, above 60 degrees Fahrenheit for it to properly set up. So let's wipe the area down with alcohol, hit it with the adhesion promoter, and then just stick them on. So let's wipe it all down with alcohol. Wipe down the entire surface. Get it good and moist, even under the edges, because the tape does go into some of the edges. Now, depending on how hot it is outside, it'll probably dry on its own. But this morning, it's a little bit cooler. Got down into the high 50s last night, so it's just getting up around 60 now. Or you can do like I just did and blow it a little bit, it'll dry. All right, now we got to hit it with the adhesion promoter. So let's hit the area with the adhesion promoter. Make sure you get it good. And that too, you want to let it dry. Whoops, that's fine, it's done its job. And I would love to say you could put it back in a little plastic thing and it's gonna remain moist and you can use it again. But I'd be lying to you if I told you that. I tried that, it didn't work. So we're gonna let that air dry for just a few minutes. You don't want it wet. It'll tack up and you'll feel it. If you were to touch that right now, it would feel tacky. Now this first piece belongs here and it has a little lip on the bottom. What you want to do is push that lip all the way up so there's no gap between the bottom of the lip and the bottom of the latch. Then you're going to just sit it in there like that. So it should be fairly easy because the tape is not going to come in contact until you flip it up and put it in place. So we'll pull both pieces of tape off. All right, now we're going to line it up. Before we flip it up, we're going to line it up, make sure it's centered. Put the lip under the bottom of it, flip it up into place. There we go. Just like money. And like all the other pieces that we use 3M tape on, you want to apply extreme pressure. That looks neat already. Now this other piece, you're going to have to do the same thing, but you want to be very careful because I always test fit them. It's going to fit under and it's going to have a lip under the bottom as well. What you're going to do is slide that in, line it up as you do, and make sure when you set it down that you set it on straight because you don't want the edges to overlap any part of the latch or it's going to have friction and it's going to cause it to eventually fall off. This is pretty hard to get on here wrong because it pretty much lines itself up. But just know that you need to get it on straight the first time. So we're going to pull all these little pieces of backing off the tape. We're going to slide it up on there. Then I got little red giblets all around the yard because they're blowing away as I'm pulling them off. There goes one. All right, one more piece. And like I say, be very careful how you slide it up on there so that you don't come in contact with that area with the tape until you are ready to push it straight down. All right, we have all the pieces off. Let's line it up. And once again, we're going to use extreme pressure. And I don't really see how, unless you hit it with something, that it's going to come off unless you really want it to come off. And like I said, all these pieces you can get off with a heat gun and some pressure, a little, get a little something up under the edge and put some heat to it and it'll come off. But that being said, what do you guys think? Matches up well with the piece we already have on here, and that's been, like I said, that's been holding up really well. And it adds a little bit of design flair to the rear of the truck. So it does not interfere with anything. The key, I will say this, down here on this piece that I have over my Ford emblem, there's a little bit of overhang, or I should say under here. This is your backup cam, so you do get a little halo effect. You see the edges of it up in here a little bit. Doesn't block your rear camera vision, but you will see it. So that being said, we have got all the pieces on the Maverick. So let's take the camera and look around and see what it all looks like together. Okay guys, there it is. What you think? It's looking awesome. Tailgate latch cover in.
semi-real carbon fiber, and the newly installed vent visors. So all installed, ready to go. Love it or hate it, there it is. Are you gonna put them on yours or no? Look at it from the side. As you can see, they do not really stick out. Aesthetically, they're pretty much aerodynamic. So there it is. Now, that's what it's gonna look like if you install it on yours. Somebody says it makes the roof line look lower. I don't know. My vehicle's lowered. I still get those looks when I pull up somewhere and they look and are like, what is that? Because, you know, once you've lowered your Maverick, I don't think it ever looks the same as a regular Maverick to me. I'm a little biased in my opinion, I guess. But I can promise you, everywhere that I pull in, everybody's like, what is that? Then they see this older gentleman get out of it, and they're like bugging. That's an old school word. So that's what she looks like. What do you think? 4 years of daily driving, snow, sleet, rain, towing, traveling with the family, and all those guys who are Maverick haters, well, that's you. But I can tell you this, my Maverick has performed flawlessly, aside from some early recalls and stupid recalls that really didn't affect the Maverick much in any way at all. Just more of a hindrance of knowing that you had a recall and you had to take it back or wait for them to come up with a solution. So that's what she looks like. The next time you guys tune in, we are going to be back on the Maverick, but we are not going to be doing anything outside the vehicle. Why? I'm so glad you asked. We're going to go inside the vehicle and give the Maverick some love, because Mavericks need love too. Amen. All right, you all have a blessed day, and we'll see you on the next video.